power went out, not just in your house, not just in your neighborhood, everywhere. No hum from the refrigerator, no glow from the streetlights, no notification beep reminding you that the world still existed. The power grid died. And here comes the part that nobody takes seriously. Most people don't even realize they're in real danger until the third day. On the first, it's still inconvenient. On the second, it's irritation. On the third, it's despair. That's when the water really runs out, when the toilet starts giving you back what you thought had gone, when the supermarkets are emptier than a politician's promise, when your friendly neighbor, the one who always said good morning, starts looking at your pantry as if he were counting calories. You have 7 days. 7 to find out if you're the type who survives or the type who becomes a story told around a makeshift campfire made of trash and broken furniture. But calm down. We'll get through this together. Grab a notebook or not. You'll remember this part because it will hurt enough to stay etched in your memory. Day 1 is the denial phase. Everyone thinks it'll be back soon. It'll be fixed soon. It's just a transformer. Wrong. A total blackout means no water pumps, no sewage, no gas stations, no payment system, no refrigerators, no supply chain. Your food is dying. Your city too. You just haven't smelled it yet. First step, stop panicking and start acting like someone who understands what's happening. Fill everything you can with water. Bathtub, pots, buckets, bottles, that weird vase your aunt has that nobody knows why it exists. If it holds liquid, it's become a reservoir. You have a few hours before the water pressure completely drops because the towers are still discharging what's left. After that, your faucets become expensive decorations, and don't trust what comes out of them after the second day. Stagnant water breeds bacteria too quickly. Boil everything, without exception, not even for coffee, not even for brushing your teeth, not even for, oh, but it looks clean. Step 2, food. Take inventory as if you were accounting for the apocalypse. Open cupboards. Count every package, every can, every grain. Now you eat to stay alive, not to please yourself. Forget the ice cream, it's become a memory. Prioritize what spoils first: milk, fruits, vegetables, meats. Cook everything while you still have gas. Your gas stove still works for now. A barbecue grill will do. And if none of that works, improvisation becomes skill. You're not making a fancy dinner, you're trying not to become a statistic by Thursday. Canned foods, pasta, rice, beans, anything that lasts longer than you, become your new allies. Ration from day 1. 7 days seems like a short time until you realize how much you consume in a normal 24 hours. Stress increases your energy expenditure. You'll walk more, think more, be more vigilant. Every decision needs to be made cold. Step 3, light. Candles help, but they also turn a small mistake into a big fire. Use flashlights carefully. Batteries are now currency. If you have a crank flashlight, even better. And most importantly, don't draw attention. No lights on at night, no music, nothing too comfortable. In a total blackout, the illuminated house is the first to receive visitors. And those visitors aren't there to chat. Day 2 is the realization phase. The penny starts to drop, but some people are still pretending everything is under control. The bathrooms don't work properly anymore. The toilet fails to flush. The water doesn't drain. And what you thought had disappeared starts threatening to return. The smell starts slowly, almost discreetly, but it grows. Your cell phone has become a paperweight. No signal, no internet, no banking, no distractions. You discover that half your life depended on an electrical outlet. The streets are different. Fewer cars, more people walking, longer gazes, doors closed before nightfall. Step 4, sanitation. Want to live more than a week? Then stop treating hygiene as a minor detail. Without running water and sewage, you need to solve the basics. If you have a yard, dig a simple pit, far from anywhere you might collect water later, at least half a meter deep. Use it, cover it with earth. Repeat. It seems primitive, but primitive still works when modern methods fail. Inside the house, improvise buckets with lids, dispose of waste properly and away from the area where you live. Disease is now an invisible enemy. Wash your hands whenever you can. If you run out of soap, campfire ash mixed with water helps with cleaning. It's not comfortable, but it reduces risk. Water remains the center of everything. The second round begins. The reserve you filled on the first day is already dwindling. Now you need to think beyond the tap. Rainwater is gold. Stretch tarps, clean plastic bags, any sloping surface that directs water into a container becomes a collection system. After collecting, filter, sand, gravel, charcoal, simple layers help retain dirt, but don't stop there. Always boil. Always. There are no smart exceptions here. If it doesn't rain, look for natural sources, streams, ponds, large puddles. Consider everything contaminated. Filter, boil, wait for it to cool. Make this part of your routine, because dehydration doesn't wait for you to get organized. Step 5. Heat. If it's winter, your house will start to lose temperature quickly. Focus on the smallest room. Close doors. Block gaps with towels. Improvise insulation on windows. Preserve body heat. Indoor fire requires adequate ventilation. Carbon monoxide doesn't give warning before it acts. Burn wood, never plastic. If you don't have a fireplace, improvise carefully. The goal is not comfort, it's to keep the body functional, because a cold body thinks poorly and a weak mind makes the wrong decision. From the third to the fourth day comes the part that separates theory from reality. This is where the selection begins. Some are still trying to find an explanation. Others have already understood that the explanation no longer matters. The market has already been emptied or closed. The shelves are clean, not from organization, but from lack of stock. Stores have been looted in some places. In others, people still feign civility, but their expressions have changed. You realize that the good morning is now short, calculated. The tension ceases to be invisible. Water became a heavy routine. Fetch, filter, boil, fetch, filter, boil. And while you do this, time passes differently. The body begins to conserve energy. You feel hungrier, but you learn to ignore it. Step 6, food. Second round. Now it's serious rationing. Maybe one solid meal a day, small portions chewed slowly. No overeating on the first day of hunger. Your body starts burning reserves. This is good if you control it. It's bad if you become desperate. If you can hunt, hunt. If you know how to set simple traps, set them. A piece of wire can become a snare, but knowledge matters. Improvising without knowing how can hurt you. Cook everything thoroughly. Parasites don't care about your will to survive. Look for wild foods if you know how to identify them. Dandelions, some roots, seeds. But making a mistake here is a death sentence. It's not the time to test your luck. Step 7. Security. Your neighbor no longer waves. He observes. You observe too. Lock doors. Reinforce windows. Make your house seem less interesting than it is. Look discreet. Look empty. A house that looks rich becomes a target. A house that looks abandoned generates less curiosity. Use small sound traps. Anything that makes noise if someone tries to enter. It's not paranoia. It's prevention. Sleep in shifts if you're not alone. Never all at the same time. If you need to defend yourself, use what you have, but understand that conflict is a last resort. An injury now doesn't mean there's a hospital waiting. The third day isn't the most physically difficult. It's the most mentally dangerous. It's when you realize this might not end anytime soon. And when that idea gets into your head, it tries to dominate everything. This is where you decide whether to maintain control or let fear decide for you. Days 4 and 5. Chaos ceases to be a hypothesis and becomes a reality. Some houses are completely silent. Others are too agitated. You hear arguments in the distance, doors slamming, footsteps too fast in the street. It's no longer just a power outage. It's a lack of infrastructure. Rumors begin to circulate. They say the power will be back tomorrow. They say the government is already working on it. They say the army is coming. Nobody comes. Rumors become fuel for those who don't want to face reality. You've already realized you can't count on immediate help. So your strategy shifts from reaction to maintenance. Water remains a priority. Even if you still have reserves, continue collecting and boiling water. Never wait until it runs out to act. Food continues to be rationed. No opening an extra can because today was difficult. Every day is difficult now. Every grain saved today can be the difference on the 8th day. Step 8. Communication. Your cell phone died. The internet disappeared, but the radio can still breathe. A battery-powered AM/FM radio is now worth more than many modern devices. It can bring news, it can bring warnings, it can bring silence. And even silence informs. Without radio, you are stuck only with what you see on your street. With radio, you understand the true size of the problem. Information reduces error. Without information, you make decisions based on fear. Observe your surroundings. Some neighborhoods are starting to organize themselves. Others are completely disorganized. Cooperation can be strength, but trust needs to be measured. Not everyone who is desperate is dangerous, but everyone who is desperate is unpredictable. If there is a trustworthy group, dividing tasks increases vigilance and reduces wear and tear, but dividing resources requires calculation. Talking too much about what you have can generate unnecessary risk. Physically, you already feel the accumulated wear and tear. Fragmented sleep, reduced food intake, constant tension. And here's where something that seems small but isn't comes in: routine. Establish schedules. Wake up, check water, check food, check safety, rest. Structure maintains mental clarity. Without routine, time becomes a confusing block and the mind begins to fail. And a failing mind generates bad decisions. From the 6th to the 7th day, you're no longer in shock. You're adapting. What seemed temporary begins to look permanent. The lack of power is no longer a surprise, it's become routine. You wake up already knowing that nothing will turn on. There's no expectation of notification, no automatic hope that everything will be back on overnight. Silence is now normal. And that's dangerous because when the abnormal becomes normal, many people let their guard down. Some gave up, others got sick, others went out to seek help and never returned. You're still here, dirty, tired, with controlled hunger and a functioning mind. And this is where the most important step of all comes in: discipline. The body breaks down slowly, but the mind breaks down first. If you let discouragement take over, you start to relax on small details. A day without boiling water, a night without checking doors, a larger portion just today. That's how mistakes creep in. Step 9 becomes repetition. Water, food, security. Water always treated. Food always rationed. Security always discreet. No relying on "I think everything's fine." Tranquility in this scenario is fragile. Step 10, fixed routine. Wake up at the same time. Do the same checks. Keep your body in light motion. The brain needs structure to avoid spiraling. Without routine, you start to lose track of time, lose focus, lose strength. Step 11, practical hope. Not that empty hope that someone will solve it for you, but hope based on preparedness. The power may or may not return. You plan for both. If it returns, you survived. If it doesn't, you continue surviving. Keep listening to the radio. Keep observing your surroundings. Keep conserving resources as if tomorrow holds no guarantees. The problem with a blackout has never been just the darkness. It's the silent dehydration, the illness that appears when hygiene fails, the fear that makes decisions for you, the conflict that arises when resources dwindle. If you understand the basics, water, food, warmth, and safety, you transform chaos into a system, and a system can be repeated. 7 days may seem like a short time, but they are the line between adaptation and personal collapse. The network died. Your cell phone turned to a brick. Society lost its rhythm, but you're still here. Not because you're the strongest nor the fastest, because you decided to act while others waited. Tomorrow you do it all again, and the day after tomorrow too. That's how you get through a collapse, one controlled day at a time. If you've made it this far, you've already understood one thing. Survival isn't about luck, it's about preparation. And preparation begins before the lights go out. If this kind of content makes you think differently, then don't just watch as a spectator. Subscribe now. Because when the next crisis arrives, and it always does, you'll want to be on the side of those who think ahead, act ahead, and understand the game ahead. There's no fantasy here. Here, there's reality, strategy, and mindset. Hit the subscribe button and activate the bell, not to support the channel, so you're not caught off guard.